Hi, welcome back to Becoming Astrology. I'm your host and astrologer, Heather. Today we're going to be talking about the astrological aspects that are happening for the week of May 3rd to May 9th, 2026. Before we get started, I want to circle back to something that was in last week's video, which was Pallas, Athena, and Aries. So this is our strategic warrior goddess that has entered the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, the warrior. They are together, and she is bringing some strategy to what it is that we are fighting for and what we are initiating in our lives. Normally, she only spends about 3.5 months in a sign, and she is going to be in Aries for almost a year. So I think that that's really important. So let's talk about Pallas Athena really quick before we dive into the week, just so we can circle back to this topic I brought up last week. So Pallas Athena has a 4.6 year orbit. That means it takes her 4.6 years to orbit around the sun. She goes retrograde every 16 to 18 months. A retrograde period is when from planet Earth, it looks like a planet is moving backwards in the sky, or an asteroid in this case. And then once it starts looking like it's moving forward, that's when we say it's in direct motion. So she's not actually going backwards from Earth. It looks like it due to the orbit of how we're orbiting and they're orbiting. So Pallas Athena entered Aries on April 27th, 2026, and she is going to be there until March 8th, 2027. So 11 months. That's a really long time. She goes retrograde on August 14th of 2026, and then she'll be retrograde until November 30th, 2026, when she'll pause and go direct. So what's happening is we are now in a 3.5 month period to implement a new action strategy of our Aries section of our chart. So for example, my Aries section of my chart is in my 4th house of family and home, and it's in my 5th house of creativity and children. That's what I'm working on right now. I've got a lot of things that I'm implementing around my home, around my child, my kitty cat life, and I've got a new dog. So trying to sort all of that out. And I'm also creating this astrological experience with my YouTube channel. So what's going to happen is on August 14th, when she goes retrograde, we're all then going to get an opportunity to reflect on the strategy we've implemented over that last 3.5 months, figure out what's working for us, figure out what do we want to tweak, and we're going to work on how do we revise that strategy. This is an internal process. You know, retrogrades ask us to reflect internally, and then when Athena goes direct on November 30th, we'll then have another 3.5 months to implement the revised strategy of what we're fighting for, what we're building, what we're doing. So I hope that this helps. I am really excited to see Pallas Athena in Aries for this time period for what we can do personally. I'm not going to lie, I'm concerned about what it's going to be like on the world stage. Clearly, we are in war that's probably not going to end. But thankfully, having her there hopefully will add a little bit more strategy to what's going on. We'll see, this week's kind of been a mess. But I think that you can use her in your own life to bring a strategy to what it is that you're fighting for in your life. So I hope that you find this time period helpful and you're able to use Pallas Athena to help you while she's in Aries. Okay, let's jump into the week. So if you remember last week, we ended the week with Mercury going into Taurus. So the first aspect that we have on Sunday, May 3rd, is Mercury in Taurus, semi-sextile Uranus in Gemini. So Mercury in Taurus is communicating our values. It is communicating in our relationships, and it's communicating about what we love. Taurus is a fixed sign. So Mercury can dig its heels in here. It's going to dig its heels into the earth. You cannot pop him out of the earth. What he hears is solid. What he says is solid. It's not going to move. That's not a bad thing. That's what Mercury in Taurus is supposed to do. Mercury rules Gemini. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Sorry about that. It took me a second. So because Mercury is in Taurus's sign, he is answering to Venus and Gemini. Well, Venus and Gemini is answering to Mercury and Taurus. So they're in what we call mutual reception. So if you are consciously thinking about this, they can swap places to work beneficially within their own strengths. Or you can leave them right where they are. That's fine too. So when we think about Uranus in Gemini, we're thinking that Uranus is answering to Mercury. Mercury is in Taurus. Mercury can swap places with Venus while they're in mutual reception. So Uranus can actually answer to Mercury in Gemini because of this mutual reception. Anyways, I'm just saying there are two ways to work with this first transit, which is Mercury in Taurus, semi-sextile Uranus in Gemini. Semi-sextiles can be stressful aspects. A sextile is asking us to positively work together. A semi-sextile is asking us to adjust how we work. So Mercury in Taurus is saying to Uranus and Gemini, hey, we've gotten very solid information and we need to dig in. We need to hold our position and be firm. That's not very Mercury-like. That can be Venus-like, but it's not very Mercury-like. So what we could do is swap Mercury and Venus and have Venus and Taurus semi-sextile Uranus and Gemini and have it become, hey, we're committed to our values, we're committed to our relationships. And because of that, we need to adjust how we're communicating the changes in our relationships. And that is a much more positive way to work with the energy, is to adjust how we're communicating so that we're better benefiting our values, our love, our relationships. I hope that gives you an idea of how to work with that energy. That energy is on Sunday, but it will stay in orb for a few days. And I'm only releasing this on Monday, so sorry. Doing the best I can here. We're still going for progress over perfection. Let's move to Monday, May 4th, 2026. We have a bigger day on the agenda. So first up, we have Mercury in Taurus, semi-sextile Neptune in Aries. So we just had that semi-sextile with Uranus and Gemini, so we know that a semi-sextile is an adjusting working energy. We need to adjust how we're working. The way we started isn't what we need to do right now. We need to adjust. Mercury in Taurus is that kind of fixed communication. And then we have Neptune in Aries. So Neptune is the dream, and he is at the beginning of the zodiac. So Neptune is still focused on what is this dream we are creating in this new 74-year cycle. Yesterday's probably a preview of this. Again, I think, we're going to be asked to adjust our communication about how we are sharing our dream. So, I'll give you a good example. Today, I thought I was going to go live on YouTube today and do it that way. Nope, I'm not able to. I need to stay in this recorded edit it, then release it. It's an adjustment to what I thought I was going to do, and that's okay. Apparently I need 50 subscribers, so before I can go live. So if y'all want to share this video and like subscribe, maybe share it with some friends, have them subscribe, I would really appreciate it. But it was a good example of, hey, you need to adjust how you're communicating your dream. You thought you were going to do X, now you're going to do Y, and hopefully the result will be Z. We'll see. All right, next up we have Mars and Aries square Jupiter in Cancer. This one has been building for a few days and it's a little uncomfortable. The good news is that they are both in happy places. So Mars rules Aries, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So they're both in strong positions. Mars and Aries is asking us to fight for what we want. And Jupiter in Cancer is asking us to expand what feels good, expand what is nurturing, expand our home environment. That square is at 90 degrees, and it's asking us to make a decision so that we can turn a corner. Squares are action oriented, and if you're not working with them, they feel really uncomfortable. And Mars is very forward in taking action. I like to say that Aries can be ready, fire, aim. And Mars in Aries is definitely ready, fire, aim. So it's probably going to do something that feels uncozy to that beautiful Jupiter in Cancer. But again, actions are going to happen. We're going to get information in. We're going to need to make decisions so that we can act on it. Whatever things come up in your day-to-day, just be sure to take action on them. You're going to see this related to where your Aries and Cancer placements are in your chart. And if you don't know where that is, you can always reach out to me for a reading. We can work through that. But just remember, if I'm feeling uncomfortable today, I need to take action. And there you go. All right. Starting at 9:33 p.m. today, it's going to begin a long void moon period. So void moons happen when the moon makes its last major aspect to a planet and it stops working as hard. It's still making small aspects, but the moon's not working. And when the moon's not working, we shouldn't be either. Thankfully, for those of us on the East Coast, this happens at 9:33 p.m. Eastern, probably before most of us are getting ready for bed. So we'll sleep through most of it. And I hope you enjoyed today and yesterday. The moon has been in Sagittarius, so it's been very productive and fun. And I know I've really enjoyed listening to music and dancing and being outside and going hiking and swimming and, you know, just experiencing the world as it is, taking action in my body here on planet Earth. That's a great way to enjoy a Sagittarius moon. So I hope you've had fun with it. And tomorrow morning, May 5th, 2026, the moon leaves its void period and goes into Capricorn at 7:06 in the morning Eastern. So with a Capricorn moon, you are going to be able to get a lot of work done. Capricorns are known for building, and to me, they are incredible builders of the zodiac. All of the earth signs build things, but Capricorn has such a steadfast way of not only saying, I can build this, but I can build this better. And I love that about Capricorn. So on May 5th, the moon is in Capricorn, and then we have Mercury in Taurus square Pluto in Aquarius. Let's keep in mind that Pluto and Juno are hanging out together in Aquarius, so Mercury will square both of them. Pluto is the planet of transformation through pressure. It is what creates the diamonds of our soul. And then we have Juno, who is our asteroid of partnerships. And they are in Aquarius, the sign of the innovator. What makes us unique in our charts is the Aquarius area of the chart. So with Mercury in Taurus, we've got that communication. This is going to be a hard one. We're going to get messages we don't like. Mercury is the only planet that can go talk to Pluto. He's the messenger of the gods. He's the only one that can go into the underworld to have a conversation with Pluto. Because it's a square, I think it's going to be a difficult conversation and it's not going to feel great. But that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be working with this energy so that we can, move forward. And this square is definitely going to ask us to move forward because, again, 90 degrees. What do I say? Make a decision so you can turn the corner. Take action. So be committed to what you hear. When you speak, be committed to what you say. These are fixed energies. And just know the messages that you get and the messages that you give can transform, but they can also bring pressure. So sometimes that pressure needs to be released. The only way to do it is to speak. It may be a hard day, but you may get the information that you need. And that information that you need is going to be what allows you to be uniquely yourself. So go for it. Sometimes these transits hurt, but they are meant to move the energy. All right, let's go into May 6th. I believe that is Thursday. Let me just double check that. Oh, no, Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday, May 6th, Pluto in Aquarius goes retrograde. It will go retrograde at 5 degrees Aquarius, and it will be retrograde until October 15th, 2026, when it turns direct at 3 degrees Aquarius. So in a 5-month time period, Pluto's only going to move 2 degrees, but have no doubt we are going to feel this station in this retrograde. So just pay attention to that Aquarius area of your chart and know that this is asking you to internally reflect on how you are showing your unique identity to the world. How is it transforming you? How is accepting the innovator inside of you helping you to transform that diamond in your soul to the beautiful gem that you are going to be and probably already are. It's just a matter of, are you showing it yet? All right. On Thursday, May 7th, we have a long void moon period again. It's going to begin at 2:18 Eastern until May 8th at 7:28 a.m. So Thursday afternoon, 2:18 p.m. until Friday, May 8th at 7:28, the moon is going to be void. Whatever you initiate during this period is probably not going to work out, probably not going to start. Don't buy things during this period. You'll end up returning them or they'll go to waste. It will be a void moon in Capricorn. So I think it's a great time to work on things that you've already started. So like, I filed a tax extension. I should probably start working on my taxes during the Capricorn moon and then finish working on them during this void of course period and submit them to my accountant. That way nothing comes of my taxes that I submit. So just be mindful and, it's okay. Like maybe you can work really hard leading up to 2:18 p.m. Eastern on May 7th. And then that afternoon, kick off, go do some office visits if you're working in office or, I used to work on a university campus. So that would have been a great time period to go visit some of my merchants and just pop in to say hello, do those type of customer relations where they know that I'm there, they know that I care, maybe we identify some needs, but I'm not going to take action on them until the next day. So, all right, there we go. On May 7th, after that void moon period begins, we have Mercury in Taurus semi-sextile Saturn in Aries. So this calls back to the Mercury in Taurus semi-sextile Neptune in Aries earlier this week on Monday, May 4th. This is where Mercury is going to say, hey, Saturn, I've gotten some more information. I know you have been spot burning the places of the structures that we're rebuilding, and I need you to adjust it. You're going to need this information that's come in because it's going to change the structure you build when you go into Taurus. So pay attention, be aware adjustments are going to come, and that is okay. All right, so Saturday, May 8th, man, we kind of have a quiet day. I think it'll be great. The moon is void until 7:28, and then we have no other major aspects. So I hope you have a great Saturn's day. Enjoy it. Do your Saturn. I think it's always a great day to do some chores that maybe you've been putting off and, you know, knock out that to-do list a little bit, but be sure to go have some fun too. All right. And let's see here. On May 9th, we have a last quarter moon at 19 degrees Aries. And if you will hold with me, I think I need to check something. Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that's the 8th was Saturn's day. It's not Saturn's day. It is Friday. Excuse me. Have a great day Friday. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. It's Venus's day. You know, don't worry about that to-do list on Venus's day. She wants to have fun. Have some great food on Friday. That's how I would work with that energy. Okay, so on Saturn's day, May 9th, 2026, we will have the last quarter moon at 19 degrees Aquarius. This is from the lunar phase family that started on February 9th, 2024. 9 months later, we had our first quarter moon in Aquarius at November 9th, 2024. I already said that. Said it again. That's okay. 9 months after that, we had the full moon on August 9th, 2025. And now we're having the last quarter of May 9th, 2026. I give you those dates so you can look back in your emails, your text messages, your phone call records, and see what was going on during that time period. Look at your photo reel. Look at some of the news that was in the media. It may give you an idea of what that original intention was, but we are now hopefully reaping the harvest of what that intention was. And since it was at 19 degrees Aquarius, again, Aquarius is kind of on the spotlight this week, that in Taurus. So we've got that fixed energy. So what were you working on innovating at the beginning of February 2024? Hopefully by now, it's been, 2.25 years later? You're seeing some of that come to fruition. I'm just going to pull up the Sabian symbol for 19 Aquarius, and we'll go over what that is to give us a better idea of what the theme is around this one. A large white dove bearing a message. You can find this at sabiansymbols.com/list-of-symbols. This symbol brings solace, comfort, and joy to those who need help. A large white dove brings messages, possibly ones you've been waiting for some time. You may need to resolve your situation by relying on peaceful messages that come from your spiritual center. They should be offered with gentleness and without malice. It can indicate either being seen as a savior or one who needs saving, as you will at times be the one bearing a message, at other times receiving it. Whichever side you're on, there can be relief once you've been able to assimilate the message that's being revealed. In its light, we look at this as blessings delivered, all is well, celebration, somebody who brings blessed relief to others, news, announcements, issues of hope and salvation, birds, and spiritual messages. In its shadow, it is sticking with the assumptions that things will never improve, refusing solace, shooting the messenger, not being content no matter what's said, depression. I think this is really interesting after some of those Mercury conversations we were having earlier in this week when Mercury made the semi-sextile to Uranus, it made a semi-sextile to Neptune, it made a semi-sextile to Saturn, it squared Pluto, Pluto stations to go retrograde. There's a lot about messages here. So I think something that you can do to work with this energy is let everything happen the week before. Like, let everything happen from May 3rd to May 8th. And on May 9th, I encourage you to tap into the message within you, tap into your true self, into your spirit, and listen. And let that be the large white dove bearing the message to you, because I think you'll probably find something pretty unique that will help you tie up this week with a bow. That's probably going to be a really weird looking bow because it's Aquarius, but that will help you resolve everything and get you ready for the next week. I hope that this guidance has been helpful for you, and I look forward to hearing your feedback in the comments of how things play out for you. If you have any questions about anything that I've said, please drop it in the comments and I will be sure to respond to you and let you know what I think. I hope that you have a wonderful week and that you enjoy yourself on this journey to who you are truly becoming. Bye for now.